There is a point where every car enthusiast starts asking different questions. Not how fast is it or how loud is it, but why is that car still worth so much? Why did that old M3 suddenly double in price while the W204 from the same era went nowhere? That's where the entertainment ends and the analysis begins. And that's exactly what we do at the Driveholiks Automotive Index. We track how performance cars behave as assets, what makes them stabilize, what makes others climb, and why a few suddenly rewrite their own value overnight. Every movement in this market follows a structure, and today we are looking at the framework behind all of it. The three behaviors that define how every performance car trades over time: the flow, the ceiling, and the breakpoint. Every car market looks chaotic until you realize there is a pattern underneath it. Some cars stop falling and suddenly start rising. Others hit a price they can never cross. And then there are the few that jump a tire overnight. One news cycle, and they are worth twice what they were last month. That isn't luck. That's structure. Every performance car, whether it's an E92 M3 or a Porsche GT3, follows the same structure: the flow, the ceiling, and the breakpoint. Once you understand these three, you can read the market the way engineers read data. Let's start with the flow, the point where a car's depreciation finally stops. In plain terms, the floor is where people stop selling out of fear and start buying out of memory. It starts when depreciation runs its full cycle, clean examples start disappearing, and a new generation of buyers begins hunting for the cars that they grew up with. You can see it happen when listings cluster tightly. Same prices, same conditions, but no one's willing to go lower because they don't have to. At that point, high mileage cars might still dip, but the good ones hold. That's your flow. Now take the E92 M3. Back in 2019, you could buy one for around £15,000. That was rock bottom. Today, a clean manual coupe trades around £30,000. Nothing magical happened. It's just attrition started doing the work. Rod bearing failures, track write offs, theft. The weak cars left the pool, and the surviving manuals became scars. Once supply tightened and nostalgia kicked in, the flow locked in. You can spot the same pattern in the R35 GTR. It bottomed around 35 grand between 2020 and 2022. Even though Nissan built plenty, reliability, tuning culture, and sheer performance created a loyal base that refused to sell below that line. So the floor isn't where the depreciation ends, it's the point where scarcity and sentiment take over. And that is the exact moment where a car turns from a product into an asset. Next is the ceiling, an invisible limit the car cannot climb beyond. Most people ignore ceilings because they think rare means unlimited growth. But every car has a bigger brother above it, and that hierarchy sets the cap. You'll know a car has hit its ceiling when prices start to stick. Listings doesn't move even if the cars are immaculate, and buyers start shifting their money to the next model up. Take the Porsche 987 Cayman R. Production was low, the cost balance was perfect, and it was hailed as the best driver's car Porsche made at that time. But then came the 981 GT4, faster, sharper, newer, and that became the ceiling. No matter how clean a Cayman R is, it cannot structurally pass the GT4's mid 50s price bracket. The hierarchy simply doesn't allow it. The same rule plays out in the BMW M2 lineup. The standard M2 and the M2 competition are both pinned below the M2 CS. The CS sits in the 50 to 60,000 range, and the rest can't climb beyond it because collectors anchor to the top car in the series. That's how ceilings work. They are the food chain inside every brand. And then there is the breakpoint. And this is not where the market moves gradually, it jumps. A single moment that permanently revalues a car. It usually happens when something ends: a powertrain, a regulation window, a model line. When that extinction hits, perception changes instantly. Look at the Mercedes C63 Black Series. It was already rare, around 66 right hand drive cars in the UK. But when Mercedes announced the new C63 would be a four-cylinder hybrid, the V8 era officially closed. Prices didn't drift up, they leapt. Cars that traded around 90 grand suddenly became 130, 140, 150. That wasn't speculation, it was repricing caused by the end of a lineage. You can trace the same behavior to the Porsche 997.2. When Porsche went turbocharged with the 991 generation, the 997's naturally aspirated master engine became the last of its kind. Collectors realized it overnight, and the market never went back. Breakpoints are the market's shock events. They are not trends, they are endings, and endings in cars are always expensive. Now step back for a second. What we have just covered, the flow, the ceiling, and the breakpoint, isn't just theory. It is the real pattern between every performance car's life cycle. A car reaches its flow when depreciation ends and scarcity starts to matter. It meets its ceiling when hierarchy and psychology cap what buyers are willing to pay. And it crosses a breakpoint when something about the world around it, a regulation, a technology, or emotion shifts permanently. Those three forces explain almost every price movement that you will ever see in the modern car market. Understand them and you stop reacting to noise and start recognizing structure. That's exactly what we do at the Driveholiks Automotive Index. Follow how cars lose, hold, or gain value, not through speculation, but through pattern. If you stay close to this series, those patterns start becoming obvious long before anyone tells you what's worth buying. Subscribe if you want to see how we read it, or keep watching until you can read it yourself. I'm AJ, this is Driveholics. Thank you for watching.